I could have come downstairs.
Okay,
No, it's
we're
fine.
live.
Yeah.
We're live now because that's just how I roll. Welcome to Elevating Your Voice, boys and girls. This is Monday, March 30th, and we have as our guest Sam Miller, who's like a pretty cool guy. And then there's
Super
Marco
cool.
Bravo, the newest associate broker at Brokers Hub Realty. So everybody bow to Marco when you see him.
No, 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 no.
And I'm the guy that can't get past two classes. Okay, I can do. I did it twice. The classes twice, and I suck at
You did them
tests.
twice?
I suck at tests, dude. I just suck at tests. I just
Oh,
suck at tests.
the,
It's just
just keep on taking the test. Just keep on taking it.
it's well, I have to take the class again because once you hit the year, it's anyway. It's we're not here to talk about my inability to be an associate broker like Martha. We're here to talk to Sam Miller and
Yes, Sam Miller. I love this guy.
find out why he checks. And hey, thank you for coming on because I know I've bugged you quite a bit. So the next thing you want to do is you want to tell Sula she got to come on next week because
Yes.
I want to talk to Sula about her rental empire she's built over the years. So Sam, give us a little bit of a 30-second rundown who you are, why you're here, what you want, and you and what you want to talk about.
Well, I was born and raised in Phoenix. I was born in St. Joseph Hospital. I'm a Phoenix native. Not many people are.
No.
My family was in the retail shoe business. That's where I started. We had a three-story shoe store. I started in the basement. I worked my way up to people. I did that for about 19, 20 years. And after my father passed away when I was young and I took over the family business, then I decided I didn't really want to be in retail anymore. So I became a real estate agent. A friend of mine worked for Century 21 at the time, and I became a real estate agent. And it turned out I was pretty good at it. I really enjoy it. And then I do it full time. It's not a part time thing. I don't sell shoes. I don't work for Safeway on the side. Those are great jobs, but I am just a full time realtor. And like Marco, I thought it's really important to be part of the community, and I became active in Phoenix Realtors Association. I served as Phoenix president of Phoenix Realtors Association, and I've been on the board of the Arizona Association of Realtors and the National Association of Realtors. I like to run. I have a dog. I live in downtown. I have lived in Moon Valley, and I grew up in North Central Phoenix.
Okay, cool. So shoe store. Where was the shoe store at? What was it named?
It was a really catchy title. It's called Miller Shoes.
Okay.
My father started the company. My dad was a real whiz at selling shoes
Hmm.
in Kansas City, and he moved to downtown Phoenix and worked for Baker's Shoes, which is now a company. He's very good at it. And he opened up a shoe store in downtown Glendale, 58th Avenue in Glendale,
Okay.
which at the time was a very agricultural community. He worked with a lot of the farmers, a lot of the Latin immigrants, a lot of the Japanese farmers as well. He was very successful, and I wanted absolutely nothing to do with it at all until I went to college and I came down and I helped in the shoe store one December. And I remember my mother told me my father came home one day and said, you know, Sam's going to be okay. He's going to be pretty good. That was in December. I was down for my college break, and my father passed away 2 weeks later, which was very unfortunate. And I ended up dropping out of U of A and running the shoe business. Shoe business was the 58th Avenue in Glendale. I expanded to a few different stores. We had one in East Mesa. We had one in Tatum and Cactus, basically. We
Yeah.
sold work boots, orthopedic shoes. I used to tell women the shoes you swear you'll never wear. Those are the kinds of shoes that I sold. Nursing shoes,
Yeah.
feel good quality, and leather products.
So here's a question about the shoe industry. How many shoes do you got to sell a month to be successful?
How did I what?
How many shoes do you have to sell a month to be successful?
Well, it wasn't pairs, it's money.
Okay.
So if you sell a pair of Red Wing boots at $165, that's a lot more than a $32 ladies clinic shoe. However, the profit in footwear, probably the same way, is with women's shoes because women buy a lot more shoes than men do, especially the kinds of shoes that we were selling. We're selling men's work boots. They would buy one, maybe two a year.
Right.
And women will buy 6, 8 pair of shoes a year. So women were where the money was at. And at the time I took over the shoe store, we were selling children's shoes. We sold everything: ballet shoes, tap shoes, square dance shoes.
Wow.
We sold everything. I
Wow.
computerized, got rid of all that stuff, and focused on what was profitable. And when we closed the business, we were profitable.
Okay.
Now, Sam, you know, you went from selling shoes to selling houses. When you transitioned over, What was your thought? I mean, were you excited? Were you like, I can do this? Were you
I was
like,
scared to death.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
yeah,
what the hell am I doing?
Because I really, retail is a different business. It's
Hmm.
very difficult. It's very, you're in a box, and I didn't really like it. I had two young children at the time. I had a 4-year-old, I think maybe a 2-year-old. I think Joel was just about 2 years old at the time. And transitioning to a new career was scary, but I had to do it because I just wasn't enjoying the other product anymore. And a friend of mine said I'd be good at selling houses. Actually, the transition wasn't as difficult as I thought, although the first few months were very sparse because when I was selling shoes that made people comfortable. We get people in that were diabetic neuropathy or they were working on their feet 12 hours. So it's very personal to have a comfortable pair of shoes. They
right,
weren't going out for a night. And a house, of course, is a you can't get more personal than your
Right.
home. And so for me, the transition wasn't difficult, but at the time, it was very scary.
How long did it take you from when you got into real estate to actually have your first transaction under contract?
6 months.
Okay,
It
that's
was six
normal. That was
months,
me. I had
and
the same thing. My first year was it was 6 months, and it was like a $35,000 condo. I thought it was a shit, you know.
yeah, oh yeah. I mean, fortunately, I I wasn't broke, but it's scary. And some friends of mine gave me the opportunity. He was an attorney. I'll never forget it. And to sell his mother-in-law's home, he knew more about the contract than I did.
Wow.
So we were going to sell his house, and he's pointing different things out. What about this? Shouldn't we do this? And I'm like, yeah, really. So it always taught me when you pass your real estate course, you're a realtor, all you've really passed is your real estate course. You're
Right.
not
right,
really, in my opinion, prepared
right.
to go out there on your own and sell.
So
No.
after, when you're heading into that 6 month, right, or that 5th month of like, gosh, I just got into a new career. I haven't done anything. What kept you going? Like what, did you just believe in yourself that much, or did you just feel that this was the right place? Because I think, if somebody goes 6 months, they kind of start doubting themselves, right? They start getting, that scarcity mindset where like, oh my gosh, this is not for me. So
Well,
how did you feel during that time?
Well, all good salesmen have good egos, right? So we all believe in ourselves. That's what makes us successful. But again, I had two small children and didn't really have a choice, right? I had to work, I had to plug it away. I made this commitment. I knew I could be successful at it. And you did what you tell every new agent to do and really what every agent should be doing, right? So I let
Wow.
everybody I know that I was a realtor. I
Right.
sent them because everybody knows 20 realtors, right? So
Yeah.
then
Right.
I listened to a few of these Mike Ferry tapes. My brokerage was very supportive of that. And I got out of the office. I had a broker at the time and said, you're not going to sell anything sitting in the office. You got to get out and go. You got to go to these houses, feel comfortable viewing homes. So I had to walk the walk just like everybody else does. And just like we still do today after 25 years, it's still the same thing.
Right.
So you have to have that confidence, and I think most realtors do have that confidence, the successful ones.
Right.
So your first year, you did one deal. Your first 6 months, how many did you end up finishing with at the end of your first year?
I don't remember, but I was rookie of the year.
Okay.
But I don't
Nice.
remember. I don't remember how many houses or what my volume was. Of course, at that
Okay.
time, 185, $200,000 was a lot of money.
Sure.
Right.
Commission split sides were much higher.
Right.
I did not have a mentor at the time,
Okay.
but it's certainly something that I recommend that all agents get a mentor. I mentor and I have mentored many agents over the years.
And
I
now, how
wish
many
I
years?
had
How many years have you been in real estate? What's this?
25. And
Okay.
March
Cool.
12th actually was
Okay.
25 years, I think exactly.
Okay.
Wow.
Cool. Cool. So
Yeah, I
we're
know it
about the
goes
same. Yeah.
fast. I could have sworn it was
Congrats.
only
Yeah.
22. It turned out
Congrats.
it was
I know.
25.
I know. I just started 27, and it's like, holy shit. Nick started
Yeah,
at 26, so it's crazy. It's
years
crazy,
go
man.
by quickly.
Well,
Well,
you know
Sam,
why? You know
oh,
why they go back quickly? Because we don't get paychecks every 2 weeks.
You don't get paid what?
You don't get paid every 2 weeks like most people do. So it
No,
just
no.
everything
Actually,
blends.
I remember, real estate's one of the few jobs, one of the few careers where you work every day with no
Hmm.
guarantee of getting paid.
right.
The
Right.
waitress is going to get minimum wage. You may not get a lot of tips, or you may get tips, but you're going to get paid. Practically no job, no profession out there where you commit to work 7, 9 hours, 12 hours a day with
Right.
absolutely no expectation of getting a paycheck.
Right.
Agreed. We're
Hey
shooting.
Sam, so you've been throughout your 25 years, you've been on many boards. You've been president of those boards. You host the North Central Phoenix tour. All these things that you've done throughout these 25 years, they don't they don't pay you for this, correct? These are all
No, they
volunteers.
don't pay you a
So
thing,
so
but
but
they
yes,
you get a lot of personal satisfaction out of it. And it's really important to stay connected with your community. It helps you stay connected with yourself. So I really enjoy it every day. You can order everything online, right? You don't even have to leave your home today. But it's really
right,
important. It's one advantage I think a real estate agent has is that we actually go out and talk to people. We are part of our community. It's an old
right.
expression, but realtors are your neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't get better than that.
Yeah. I when I was with my last team, there was a few of the veteran agents that when I started joining these boards and started kind of being on the grievance committee, they kind of, why are you doing that? You're not getting paid. You're wasting your time, you know? And I was like, no, I mean, I'm in it. I'm learning something, connecting with fellow realtors who, hey, if I send an offer or they send an offer to me, we have this connection. So I do think it is important to be part of those communities. It's not for everybody, right? But if in my opinion, probably you have the same mentality, Sam, since you've been on all of these. If you can get involved in these associations, do it. You know, I think you'll learn and you're also giving back, right? I think you're giving back to the industry.
You're right. From the outside in, it sounds like you're giving back. But the reality is, and it's an old expression, you're getting a lot more from it than you're giving out. You're learning a lot, you're making connections. There's just, there's an expression, but it's better to give than to receive, right? It's very, very rewarding to serve on these boards and to be a part of your community. I learn a tremendous amount, and it does help my business as well. Plus, there's often we'll do a cross sale with somebody and it's always a lot better.
Yeah.
Right. Awesome, Sam. So let's get into some of the things that you wrote. Your focus topic was keep your eye focused on the prize.
Eye on the
Right.
prize, baby.
Well, here's a thing. So it's kind of a long thing. Real estate, people's homes, and I learned this a painful lesson from a seller when I told the seller, "Hey, it's just business," and the seller rebuked me quite correctly. He said, "It's personal." But when you're buying and selling a home, it can't be more personal. It's not like a Walmart. This is where people are families. They're going to have family memories. We're going to put their Christmas trees or menorah, or whatever it is, right? So it's very personal. So from their point of view, that's critical that you understand that and you empathize and you treat them personally. However, from my perspective, it's business. And I have to treat it as a business because nobody hires me to be their buddy. They hire me to help them buy or sell their property. That's the prize. So when we're engaging in this process, my responsibility is to keep an eye on that prize, right? You don't get a medal when the deal falls apart or when you don't sell the house.
Right.
You've got to keep your eye on the prize. So the whole process, we want to make sure that deal goes through. We're going to work with the clients, make sure that deal goes through because that is success. I never hang my failures up as a trophy on the wall. Nobody ever does. So it's really important that you keep an eye on the prize. When you get hired to sell a house, sell that house. If it turns out that you become really good friends with that client, that is a bonus. But they're not hiring you to become their friend. They're hiring you to sell their property. So keep an eye on that price.
And even if you are dealing with somebody that you've had a friendship before, I think when they hire you, you have to put on that realtor hat when it's time.
You got to
Absolutely.
separate,
Even if they're your best friend, and by the way, my best friends don't hire me. That's certainly fine.
Right?
I'd rather be
what
their
the hell's
friend.
that about?
Yeah. I just had lunch with a friend of mine. He sold 4 houses, never used me once, right? But he did refer me out, which is nice. Well, again, even your friends don't hire you to be their buddy. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're trusting in your professionalism and they're trusting in your judgment. That's why they like you. But ultimately, if they didn't think you could do the job, they would not hire you, or they maybe, people don't hire their best friends to be their CPAs for whatever reason, same kind of thing. So that's it. You got to be professional.
Yeah, and there is a reason why I think that some really close friends, because I've come across that in my career, And it comes back to why they didn't want to ruin the friendship, but something went south, which at the time you get that knee jerk reaction, like, oh, why, what are you doing hiring my competitor? But then you step back and realize that's a good point. Like we hired a contractor that we knew for 20 years to remodel the interior of a home, and we don't talk to him anymore because he clustered everything to the fact that it just soured the friendship like you wouldn't believe.
So the friendship is way more valuable,
right? So I can understand that a little bit now as I'm older, than opposed when I was, the first year or two in the real estate business, because then you're trying to build that database and trying to build a pipeline and get your name out there, referral business. Now, as you get older, right, the older we get, the wiser we get. It's like, okay, I can see that, because again, that relationship's gone. We knew him since '96.
Yeah, it never bothered me. It bothered my ex-wife a lot, but it never bothered me because friendships are worth way more than a paycheck.
Right,
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed.
Sam, the next point that you make is something that I am so adamant about, and I saw this a lot when I was mentoring some newer agents, where you wrote, "Don't rush to text or email." I would have some of these agents that would get an offer, and the first thing they wanted to do was call up the client and say, "Hey, we have an offer." I said, hold on. Let's call the agent. Let's call the lender. Let's make sure that they're strong. Let's gather all the facts before we even get there. When you say that, what are you referring to?
Well, everybody is emotional, but I think salespeople especially are very emotional. And we do take this, as I said, keep an eye on the prize and being professional. We keep it personal. So if something happens and get pissed off, we want to just call up and we want to just rant and we really want to just rip into somebody. It's not what we really need to do. So I always counsel, and I try to follow my own advices. You can write that email, be emotional, get it all out, but don't send it. Hang in there, wait a few hours. Yeah. It's going to be okay. And you're absolutely right, Marco. I always tell people, or I try to tell people, before you send that, talk to the lender, get all your facts in a row, or at least get some other information so that when you make that phone call, you're going to be prepared for whatever the conversation has. And you need to keep it professional with the other party as well. So don't let your emotions get involved, because if you do, you're keeping your eye off the prize, right? Then it becomes you and the other agent. And that's not what this is about. This is about your clients. And so it's really important that you keep those emotions in check. I certainly understand it, man. I will go and I will yell at my bathroom and I will tell my dog all my secrets and everything, right? And I will write it down. I write some beautiful long text, right? But I end up only sending this much.
Yeah.
And there have been many times where I've told somebody, don't, wait. And then they'll tell me I sent it. It's like,
well, see, here, the cool thing behind that, the cool thing behind that is they hired us to get them the best terms and conditions possible when selling their house.
Right.
So when we go to them with an offer, and this is that thing kind of ties into the name of this, we're elevating the standard of a realtor, right? When you call, when I do, because I do the same thing, when I call my seller, hey, look, I got an offer. I talked to the lender, I talked to the other realtor. This is what they've done from the lending side. These are all the boxes that have been checked. From a buyer standpoint, these are the boxes that have been checked. For the offer standpoint, and I kind of break down the terms and conditions, and so they get all of that up front. And then we discuss the offer's terms and conditions itself after they know, okay, I vetted the buyer through the lender. I vetted the lender because if it's a lender I don't know, I'm going to go down a little bit more rabbit hole and find out, okay, how long you been in the business? How long you been in Arizona? Are you local? All that kind of jazz. But that gives us more credibility. That puts more value on us as the professional they hired, as opposed to what you said, I got an offer and it sucks, or I got an offer, oh my gosh, yay!
Because, you're exactly right. Your clients, at a very minimum, expect you to do the due diligence. Before you call that client and even tell them you have the offer, you call that lender. And you just get some information as much as you can, so that when you speak to your client, you've got something. And when conflict happens, kind of going back, Marco, you write that long text. I'm sure you guys have had this where you don't send that text. And you know what? You end up not needing to send it because something gets resolved, and you would have made yourself look like a real jerk if you had sent that text or that email. So it's okay.
And the beauty of real estate is also that there's nothing that has to be done the next second. There is this time where, for most things, you can wait a few hours. You can wait half a day. You might even be able to wait, 24 hours, right?
I
For some
wouldn't go that.
persons.
I wouldn't
I
go
agree.
that
There
far,
is
Marco.
Well,
Like if I make an offer to you,
time is
Marco, and
of
you
the
wait till
essence.
23rd hour to respond to me, dude, we're gonna have
You're
an
right.
well,
issue.
not that,
Okay?
not
If I
that, but
give you 24 hours to respond, man, I want at least acknowledge that the offer came in within the first hour. Even if it's
well,
just receive, thanks, I'll get back to you. Like,
well,
don't
hey,
you shut the
hey,
door,
well,
man.
sometimes that 24 hours puts a little pressure on the other person to think a little bit. Are they going to respond not or not,
Yeah,
right?
no,
You know?
time is of the essence. When I
Right.
sold
Right.
shoes, I remember I worked with a lot of podiatrists, and we used to joke, there's no such thing as an emergency bunionectomy, right? So it's okay, right? I mean, it's okay. You need to be on your toes. You don't want to let things go forever, but
Mhm.
take
Right.
your time, be the professional that you were trained to be, and
Yeah.
you're going to serve your clients in the very best way and what they expect, and even more than they expect of you.
Right, but still respect the timeline they give you.
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
don't
so
don't
Don't
so
blow
be
the
that guy.
timelines.
Don't be
Sam, I
that
want to
guy,
go. I
Marco.
want to go to the next point that you said, which I'm really interested to see why you wrote this. Remember, I'm not the client.
Correct.
Yeah.
What do
Well,
you
that
mean by
goes
that?
back to me making it personal.
Yeah.
I'm not the client, right? I mean, everything is for the client. It's not for me. So this is a real problem with agents, and they get into this.
Mm,
It's going to sound
mhm.
for the pissing match, right?
They
I'm going to
do.
get this.
Yeah.
I'm going to get that. I'm going to get that. I don't
Mhm.
care. What I care about is the best thing for my client, and this is a
Thank you.
real problem. When we start off a transaction with title companies, right? We
Yeah.
have to get our title company. I don't care, right? I
I
mean,
agree.
I love my title companies, but I'm not going to the mat for my title companies. I'm going to the mat for my client. And
Right.
I advise my client there's not a huge difference between the title companies. It's the title officer. I know it's a good one. I don't know if it's a good one, but man, I mean, I'm not going to risk this deal for you
Right.
because I might get some free postcards.
You know what I
Okay?
hate? You know what I
It's
hate?
not worth it.
It's when they put in the private remarks, my seller prefers ABC Realty. Shut up. Your seller could care less. Nobody
Yeah.
cares who the title company is. And I called the realtors out. Really? Your seller prefers that? Give me a break. Just like mine say,
Yeah.
I like Jessica Peterson Magnus title. If you want to use her, cool. If not, I don't care.
Yeah.
But don't tell me my seller prefers F-bomb,
That's not true.
whatever. It's a
Yeah, I
lie.
don't care about any of that. I don't care if the other party thinks they won the entire way through.
Right.
When we get the deal, we win.
Right.
That's what
Exactly.
the client wants. I don't care if the other agent walks around thinking, I got him, I stuck him, and get what's happened. My client sold the house for the price they wanted, they're on their way. Or my client got the house they really wanted, they're on their way.
Yep.
It's not about me.
Nope.
Right.
We don't pay the mortgage. We don't clean the
Right.
yards. We don't
No.
paint the rooms. We
That's
just
another
facilitate
really
the
key thing
transaction.
that
That's it.
realtors often forget, that
Right.
it's not their house.
Yep.
It's the client's house, right? So they're not paying the mortgage. They're not going to do the landscape.
Nope. Nope.
And often I'll tell this to people, you don't know the whole story. And
Right.
people are very open with it. They're going to tell you a lot, but you don't know the whole story. So you think you know why they're selling the property, but you may
Yeah.
not know the entire story. So don't think that you're so smart, that your ego is so great that you know everything, because you don't. And it's the same way with they're buying a house. You might find out a year later, wow, I had no idea, right?
Yep.
So it's another reason why it's important to keep your eye on the prize. They hire you to buy that house,
Mhm.
help them
Right.
buy that house. Sell that
Right.
house, help them sell that house. The other
Yep.
stuff is
Well,
gonna
it's the same.
be-
It's the same concept too when you come to settlement statements. I recently had an agent who was buying one of my listings, and we had an issue with the appraisal, and she came back and acted like my seller was fine with what she was netting. I'm like, well, how do you know that? Just because
Yeah.
she's making X amount of dollars doesn't mean she's fine. This is what's going to sustain her for the rest of her life. Her
Mhm.
husband had a detrimental illness that just cleared out all of their future savings and stuff. I'm like, so don't assume because there's this
Right.
$20,000 discrepancy that my client's fine. That's completely
No, that's a
presumptuous.
real common thing where people
Right.
think, oh, the client is broke. You have no idea if
Yeah.
that client is broke. Their
Right.
uncle could be a billionaire. You
Right.
don't know
Right.
anything about their finances. You only know how much money they have. You only know how much they're pre-qualified for. You
Right.
don't know what their bank account is. I don't want to know what their bank account is.
Right.
I know what their
Agreed.
family situation is.
Agreed.
I'm focused on the prize.
Yep.
That's
So,
what they hire me to do.
Sam,
Exactly.
you being in the business for so long and speaking with so many different agents and transactions, how do you deal with an agent that comes in hot, that is taking something very, you can just tell right away, they're taking it very personal. They are acting like they are the client, right? How do you diffuse that situation? Because I've had
Oh, good
a few
question.
conversations, you know, on my last few transactions where the agent was really hot right away. You know, like, whoa, like, okay, what do you do to kind of
This
diffuse
may
that?
come as a shock. I let them talk. I'll just let them vent and talk and yak and blah 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 blah. Fine, you know, let them. They can come in as hot as they want to. I don't really care. I mean, yes, my emotions do get there, but I try not to respond. Let them just come in and talk. Let them vent, and then they're exhausted. They've made their point. They feel good about themselves. Okay,
Well,
it
and
doesn't
the other,
change any of the facts.
yeah, the other thing with that too is like I look at real estate as playing poker. I don't play poker in real life because I work too hard for my money. But when I do play poker, I win. So to your point, Sam, you let the agents just run their mouths for 15 minutes and drop everything, just vomit all the information. You have the upper hand because now you know everything there is to know about their client, everything there is to know about their situation, and then when they come to the inspection period, you already know their hand because they played it. So you know whatever you say,
that is not
they're
uncommon,
staying put.
especially you talk to a lender and they'll tell you things they should not tell you.
Right.
I always ask the other agent things. They always tell you things that they probably shouldn't tell you.
Yep.
And yeah, you have to remember you have to use that. I also advise clients, I'm sure you have the same thing, that rings pick up everything. I had a client call me and tell me everything that was going on with the buyer that was looking at their house, because the seller and their agent were standing on the porch talking about it, and the ring had picked up everything.
That just happened to me yesterday. My client's like, "Oh, can you call them and tell them?"
That was a relatively easy transaction.
I'm like, "No, I'm not going to tell them you're spying on them at the front door." Like when they give me feedback, I'll be like, "Hey, by the way, my sellers want you to change the terms and all the appliances will convey." But she's like, "I heard them talking. They don't like. They love the house, but they really want the washer dryer, so I don't know if they're going to do anything." I'm like, "That's creepy, Tammy. Super creepy.
Yeah, well,
stop it."
Hey, the ring was on. They didn't tune in to spy on them. The ring
I know, but
was
I don't know if you guys are the same, and those of you watching, when I come to a house and I see the ring, I gotta look at my clients. I'm like, cameras, don't talk anything about this house. Just smile, walk through. When we're done, we'll go to the street. We'll talk about it, or we can talk about it as we drive to the next home. But don't sit there and open your mouth and start either praising it or destroying it. Because you
That's great advice. I always tell your clients, you can assume you're being recorded and videoed. And
absolutely.
That was really important to tell everybody a few years ago. Now people, I think, just assume it. But that starts before you enter the property. And all the way, all the way to get on the sidewalk. Things aren't so rapid today that that's such a problem. But I do, I'm sure you counsel your clients and you love it. That's fine. We'll talk about it later. And that's it's an emotional thing because again, it's highly personal for your clients. That's why they're hiring you, not to freak out.
Well, and I think it gets emotional when they really love the house, right? And I think we want them to get emotional, right? If we're out showing and I don't see any emotions, we're walking through the first 3 houses and I don't see any emotions, I know that's not the house for them, right? It's when they start getting emotional, that's when they start getting excited, that's when they're going to start putting in an offer, that's when they're going to start really wanting things, right? And so as agents, we also have to be aware of that, right? It's like, okay, they're being emotional because they love it. If they didn't love it, they're not going to be emotional, right?
Well, that's interesting. Yes and no. How many times have you worked a transaction where you've shown a clients a number of houses and they call you up and they say they want an offer on B? And you're like, B?
Yeah.
You didn't seem to like that house at all. It didn't match anything you said you wanted.
Yeah.
So sometimes you don't pick up on that, but yes, absolutely. Sometimes they walk in, oh my God, I love it. I can see this, blah, 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 blah. That's great. That's when your job is actually a little more difficult because they're really, really counting on you to get that transaction for them. And that's what your responsibility is.
Yeah. I mean, the pressure's on. I mean, I've walked into some houses with clients and they're like, Marco, give me this house. Do what it takes within our budget. And it's game time. Right? It's game time. Like I need to be on that phone with that agent. I need to be looking at comps. I need to be talking to the lender. Let's rock and roll because this is the one that they want. And let's do it.
So Marco, when you're the buyer's agent, you call people right away. You don't wait a couple of hours. You don't just kind of sit and things, let it all muster like you're done on the spot.
Call the other agent?
Yes, you know what you did there?
Yeah, I don't want anybody to swoop it from me. I plant that seed.
Right. I mean, you tell your clients, they say, well, think about it. I'm like, well, there could be another couple just like you.
I know. But you said just the flip side of the coin, right? From selling agent wise, we're just like, yeah, I got an offer. That's cool. Yeah, let's go sit with Patty, have some nice tea. Just kind of,
Every
give them
offer
a
is
call,
cool,
right? Your
even the
buyer's
most
agent's like, oh, I
attractive.
got to call right now, man. I
I
need to
gotta
know.
I gotta keep my eye focused on the prize, right, Sam?
Absolutely. Always keep your eye on the prize. And listen, like everybody else, I tell people that, but doesn't mean I don't lose my temper. It doesn't mean I don't always follow my own advice because I'm human,
Right.
and everybody makes mistakes, and
Right.
that's just part of life.
I just had to poke fun. That's all. Because
Hey,
I'm the same way, man. When a buyer says I'm ready, like Johnny on the spot, man, I'm on the phone when we leave the house.
Right.
You know. Of course,
I
I
always
don't give
tell
it
a
up.
buyer though,
But my question is, hey, Sam, I just showed your listing. My client's interested. You have any offers? That's the extent of that conversation.
yeah, yeah.
I don't go down any path of anything else because they don't need to know
right,
anything.
No, if they
right.
love it, that's the house. Boom. Yeah, you don't need to
No,
show them 14 houses
no.
after that. Right.
No.
Now that's again, I always tell clients, there are no 1Bs. If it's not a house you don't love, keep going.
Here's your
Right? That's
question.
okay.
Here's your
We'll find the
question.
house you absolutely love.
Yeah, here's a question for both of you. So you have 7 houses set up for show, okay?
Hmm.
Your third house, they love it. They tell you they love it. They say this is it. Okay. Now you have 3 houses left, right? So are you showing those 3 houses? Or are you calling the agent up saying, sorry, we decided to not take, not to pursue these 3 because they found something they like.
I'm
What do you
showing.
do, Marco?
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm showing too.
I'm
I'm showing
showing.
too.
I'm showing.
I'm
I don't
yeah,
want them to. I mean, obviously, if they wanted to see it, there was some level of
hmm
interest, right? And yes,
yeah,
if that's the one, great.
yeah. But
Let's just
still,
make sure. Let's just
yeah.
make sure.
See, I call it comparative shopping. Okay, we got the one now.
Hmm.
We've looked at the other 3. So now let's look at these final 3 and comparative shop because then in their mind, they've seen everything they wanted to see that day, and that more solidifies their decision. What about you, Sam? Same?
I ask them. So
Okay.
first of all, we've made the appointment. I don't like to cancel the appointments, but I do ask them, like, hey, this is the
Okay.
house you love. We've got 2 others to take a look at. Would you like to take a look at
Yeah.
those? Almost every time they do, which is
Okay.
good for me. But if they're like,
Yeah.
hey, and I remember this happening, but if they're like, no, I don't want to see anything else, let's go
Yeah.
back and write the offer right now, that's what we're going to do.
Hmm.
I've had that a couple of times. Anybody watching, if you want to chime in, because I'm curious to know what your approach is to that. If it's the same as us, or it's out of a curiosity thing. Because I've only had a couple of times where like, no, I'm done. I don't need anything else today. Let's just go write this up. But for the most part, I agree with both of you. Comparative shop, because then you're truly getting them to understand what they're doing. Nick says, stop, drop it, right.
Yeah. Nick
Oh,
is
Nick.
on.
Oh, Nick. How did I know he was going to do that?
Well,
I did an open house for a really cool house Nick has listed in I think is it Garfield? It's a really cool house. The sellers had it prepared beautifully, and thank goodness the cats weren't there to escape. Everybody that opened the door was freaking out that they closed the door right away. I'm like, aren't there? It's okay. Although I could have really messed with them, like, oh my,
that would have been funny though.
that would have been good, but
Yeah.
I'm not that clever.
Yeah.
Sam, you don't seem like the arguing type, and you wrote down here, don't argue with people. Well, can you talk a little bit about that? And I
Actually,
I saw you firsthand down here in the headquarters in our lobby,
Headquarters.
kind of shut down an argument, and it was awesome. So go ahead, tell me a little bit about.
I actually love to argue.
Oh, okay.
I love to debate. I'm actually very aggressive.
Okay.
But I have to know when not to argue. My father-in-law used to call my ex-wife and I the Bickersons.
Oh.
But we still get along. We're very friendly. So I actually do like to argue. I do like to debate.
Mm-hmm.
And if I wasn't a realtor, I may have become an attorney. But it is important
I could see that.
to know when to shut up. And that just takes
Yeah.
time. If you don't have it in
Yeah.
your nature, which I don't, it just takes age and experience. And so there are times when I'm not saying anything out loud, but believe me, I'm arguing about it, especially when it comes to world events and things. I've got a lot to say.
Right.
That doesn't surprise me.
In real estate, when you're referring to, I mean, are you saying don't argue with the client, don't argue with the agent, either or both, or?
Well, you try not to argue with anybody, but that doesn't mean you can't get your point across. if you have a seller that's reluctant to reduce the price, and by the way, price is the last thing a seller wants to adjust. They'll paint the house. They'll spend more money doing things that they don't need to do before they lower the price, which is a bizarre thing, but that's human nature.
Mhm.
So you need to encourage your seller to try to readjust their price. And that's just representing the information that you presented with them before to try to make a point. It's not really an argument because you don't want to debate your client,
Right.
but it's difficult to try to and sometimes you just can't help it. You've got somebody that's just a real jerk, and I become a jerk back. I don't want to be, and I regret it at the end,
Mhm.
but it's again human nature.
That goes back to being reactionary, though, as opposed to just kind of like you said, when you get the offer and you want to write that email or that long text, you do it to purge it. And then as time lapses, you go back to, okay, out of this 17, sentence paragraph.
Oh yeah. That was kind of my journalist.
Right.
You write a ton and then you edit it back. And then I've been so fortunate that when I write it all back and it gets down to 3 sentences, and then I don't even have to send it because the issue was resolved. Or then you write something and it's much better. Yeah. And that's where AI can help you kind of segue into AI. AI is a great tool, but it should not replace your own voice. And this is a problem that people do have. They just have AI write the whole thing for them.
I give stuff to Dave, to your point. I'll let it stew. I'll talk to Nikki about something because, spouses always get the, hey, how should I respond to this? So then I give it to Dave, hey, reword this. And then whatever Dave says, for those of you who don't know, remember that's my AI guy. Then I'll read that, but then I put everything back in my own words. So like you said, don't let that replace your voice. Still maintain your voice, maintain your own demeanor and your style. But that kind of gives it really does give a neutral kind of context of whatever the situation is. That's a good point. There's a couple times where Dave's written stuff like, that's a good point. I didn't think of that.
Yeah. In advertising, white space sells, and in writing, you don't need to say 15 paragraphs, right? No. If you want to tell somebody, I want $1,500 credit, you don't need to write, AI will write a paragraph about that. You don't need to do that. Just this is what you need. That's it. And that's the most effective kind of communication as well. That's another reason, by the way, to go to the office, because when you go to the office, and I feel bad for the people that are in the office with me, you'll vent on your other agents, which you'll learn from them as well, as opposed to turning around and venting on your client or writing something you shouldn't have. So woe to the people that are in the office when there's a problem, but you'll hear me.
That's the cool thing about our office, that we have that dynamic where we're all there kind of collectively and bouncing ideas. Fireside chat. It's basically a bitch session, but in a very professional, polite way, right? Because we just have the ability to share with everybody, which is cool, which is why I came there, because I was tired of a vacant office space, and now we have camaraderie and culture, which is neat.
Yeah, it's important to go to the office, but you shouldn't spend all day there.
Right.
But you need to go. If you're not going to the office a lot, I think the fireside chats are really critical. Other than that, I really hate meetings.
Right.
I don't think they're very. I just don't think they're very productive. And when I go to a meeting, even a board meeting,
I was going to say,
I'm out of there after an hour. You guys can sit there and talk for 5 hours. I'm gone. Yeah.
Here's like I just thought of a meme. The Dos Equis guy.
Yeah.
Picture of Sam. I usually don't go to meetings, but when I do, I'm the president of the board. That's Sam.
That's well, I haven't and this is going to sound extremely egotistical. I have never joined an organization that I didn't plan on leading, and that sounds because I don't join an organization that I don't really respect and don't want to be a part of. But ultimately, I would want to lead, and usually I do.
Yeah.
I love that, Sam. I love that mentality. I really do love that mentality that, hey, look, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to go 110% in, right? Yeah. And, for you to say like, hey, I'm not going to join something unless I'm going to lead it. I mean, that's straight up gangster. You know what I mean? That's awesome.
It's not egotistical, man. It's just you're owning the space that you're in.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah. Hey, Sam, the last point that you put on here is, and it's something that I think in this world of super quick technology, and every year we're getting a new app. Every year we're getting a
Every
new.
year, try every day, Marco.
Sorry, every day, something new, right? And you put on here, don't rush to adopt new technology.
Thank you. That's brilliant, by the way.
I think that
Yeah.
is so wise.
I'm
It is.
accused of being anti-technology, which is not true at all. I don't rush to embrace new technology. I want to learn about it and I want to use it.
Yeah.
But I don't because it's just a shiny thing, right? Everyone's like, oh,
Yeah.
do this. And then I go to this and I do that.
Yeah.
You must do this. And you end up not doing anything, right? So
Right.
I'm not anti-AI at all, but I use it as a tool. Now, I didn't use it at first at all, but and maybe that put me behind the curve, and I'm sure it did because that's partly generational. But other people, they embraced it, they used it completely, and they, in my opinion, they looked kind of silly, especially with the verbiage that they're using that nobody uses. So it's really important that you take the technology that's out there and use it for what it's important for you. Don't ignore it, but don't run to the next shiny thing all the time.
Right.
Well, and Mark Loach just pointed out, be on the edge of technology. You're spending a lot of money, and the way Nick is with TikTok, where Nick goes down TikTok and buys all kinds of crazy shit. AI gets me with that. Like I got this one thing, and I was like, "Oh, this is really cool." And then when I'm inside, you gotta buy this, and this. And then a couple days ago, I got these 3 alerts, like all for this app. Like, oh, here's your. I'm like, holy shit, I gotta cancel this stupid thing because I stopped using it because you get so inundated, and you do. They present it as this really cool platform, and it's gonna be able to do these different things, and you're gonna be able, and then you look back at it after the fact, like, ah, that's like my nighttime scrolling, like Nick's on TikTok buying, corkscrew things that blow air into the bottle. I don't need that. You really
I'm
only
not
need 1 or 2
anti-TikTok.
apps.
By the time I hit TikTok, you'll know that it's passe. I'm good at Instagram and I'm good at Facebook. But my clients tend to be a little older. They're still on Facebook and Instagram.
Right.
Right.
Really TikTokers. But I have to figure out how to get to TikTok, and I will get to TikTok right when they move to something else.
And I think a good standard is kind of, just pick up maybe, with all this technology, there's so much out there. You can just get inundated with all these apps and all these technologies, and maybe pick 3 and really learn them, right? I think that's where, if you find one that you really enjoy and you can see how useful it is, really go deep into it and really use it to its capability, rather than just, I'll dabble here, I'll dabble there, and I'll dabble here, and then you're just,
and then you don't use it, right?
So use it, right?
What do these technologies always promise? They promise to make your life easier and more comfortable. But so many times we rush to jump on these new technologies, and we're not comfortable with them at all. No. So you need to be comfortable with the newest technology that you want to use. So choose that wisely. Get to know it. You're absolutely right, Marco. If it's not right for you, move on to something else. That's fine. But if it's not a technology that you're comfortable with, ease into it. It's okay.
Right.
There are people that are just becoming part of Facebook today.
Yeah.
That's okay. Yes, I've been part of it for a long time, but that's all right. Technology is always moving. You're never going to be able to stay up ahead of it. Even people in the business are, that's just the way it is. Be comfortable with the technology that you use. And your clients will see that.
If you have an iPhone, the tip with iPhone is every time you subscribe to something, you can access it in your phone. So when I subscribe to something, I'll automatically go in there and cancel the subscription because you forget. So if it's a monthly renewal or if it's an annual renewal, if you cancel it right then and there, then you'll get notified, hey, this is scheduled to cancel. And it's like, oh yeah, I haven't used that, so why would I keep doing it?
Right.
Because it's a shiny new thing, like we just talked about. It's a shiny new toy. This is great. This is going to change my world. And then it basically does what Dave did or what Captions did, and they just made this look like it was something that much better, and it really wasn't. It's just a different spin.
Well, here's something I've learned from 25 years in technology and 25 years of working in the business. Not much changes.
No.
It's right. It's a people business. So the way we talk to people today and 25 years ago, the way I talk today, not a whole lot changes. The way we reach them has changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
But ultimately, and that's true with all sales, I'm sure, this is a people business. And if you move to technology and you forget the people, you are not going to be in any business for very long.
Right.
Yeah, truth.
And I think as technology just consume our lives and every minute of our day, you know, at least I crave that human connection, right?
Yeah,
I crave
that's
that human connection. I crave being around other people.
Mhm.
You know, it's just, you can't replace that. You just cannot
I agree.
replace that.
You can, I said before, you can order everything on Amazon and never leave your house. But
Right.
I still go to Target. I still go to Walgreens.
Yeah,
I need to talk to people. I need to
right,
see people. It's a
right,
great way to learn, right? I
right,
mean, you know, that's what our business is, and
right,
that's how people are. That's a great thing about being a real estate agent is we're like the sponges of people. We learn a lot from
right,
people, and people know a lot
right.
because we learn a lot.
And technology cannot teach you those soft skills that are so important in sales. Those social cues that when you see somebody's expression after you announce something, you know, it's either a good thing or bad thing for them, right?
Right.
You technology can't do that, right? You
No,
see
that's
that,
exact technology, and really, real estate is a skill. You're a salesperson. You can develop those skills, but not everybody has them,
Right.
and not everybody's going to have that talent, and it's not for everybody, right? So
Right.
some people just aren't going to be successful no matter how many classes they take, no matter how many things they do. You guys are successful because you make that connection. Mark, you make that connection with people. Chris, you're able to make that connection with people. The people that are able to do that, you can hone and make those skills sharper. But if you're just not that kind of person, it's just not your
right,
kind of industry. And we've all kind of met people like that you're kind of wondering, like, maybe this isn't the best.
Right.
yeah,
This maybe isn't the
Like,
best
yeah,
for you.
yeah, like don't negotiate over text message. Like I had a buyer that was doing the wire broker stuff, and he had like 6 questions. I'm like, dude, I'm just going to call you in 20 minutes. I'm not going to have this conversation over
oh
text.
yeah,
I don't, because you can't interpret their mood. You can't hear the
yeah,
tone of their voice. You can't hear how they're breathing. And so that puts you backwards, because then all of a sudden, no matter what you do, can come across the wrong way.
right,
So even with agents, like I said, when I leave the house, I'll call an agent. Hey, my client's interested. Do you have any offers? If they don't answer the phone, I'll text them. Hey, I just left you a message. My client's interested. Do you have any offers? But I won't go past that. To me, it's just it's important to do everything on the phone, because there's no face to
right,
face really anymore.
right, right. Sam, as we wrap up here, you've been in the business 25 years. You've been on multiple boards. You're an awesome guy. You're one of the reasons why I joined this brokerage.
Really? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
I don't know if, you know, when you had an office at HomeSmart, and you were actually moving out. I don't know if you remember, but I already taken Bobby's office, and I said, "Where are you going?" And you're like, "Oh, I'm going to the Brokers Hub." I'm like, "Oh, what is that?" And you're like, "It's a group of brokers," and I was like, whoa,
Some of you.
that's a cool concept. I had never heard of it, right? And you know, fast forward, you know, a year and a half later, um, you know, I knew you from the North Central Phoenix tours, right? But with 25 years, the market going like this, you know, what is some great advice that you would give to newer agents or agents that are just, you know, hey, look, it's rough right now. What's your advice? What's your advice to any agent out there right now?
Well, for a new agent, the most important thing for a new agent is get a mentor.
Mm,
Find a mentor. That's critical for
mm,
anybody's success. It's someone you're going to learn from, you're going to gain experience, and it's really, really important. Find a mentor. If you don't have a mentor, find one. Talk to your DB, get somebody, talk to an agent. I happen to have the very best mentor possible. The number one agent in Maricopa County was my mentor, even though he didn't know it. He just thought we were working together. But having to be able to talk to
yeah,
Bobby Lee and see him every day was
yeah,
really important, and I learned a lot. And I still learn a lot from Bobby, and I text him again. We had a text exchange this morning.
yeah,
We still talk a lot, even though we're in different brokerages. So that's the number one thing a new person can do. And then another thing you need to do is, and it's something that all agents fall in the trap to, you have to work every day. I mean, I used to come to that HomeSmart office every single day. I try to come to the Brokers Hub office most days, even though it's right above me. The home office, in my opinion, is a bit of a trap. Um, but
yeah,
it is more productive than it used to be. I really try to go to the office I'm always way more productive in the office. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
care. I can do something in 3 hours at home. It take me 45 minutes in the office. So do that. And then it's really important for a new agent to go and preview property every day because most agents are nervous about going in other people's home. That's what I used to do. I used to go and take my lockbox and I used to go in these houses and it helped me present the properties as well. But I had to go in in these houses every day, feel comfortable in somebody else's property. And then I worked with, I took a Brian Buffini course, which helped me quite a bit. So I would door knock, and I don't know if I would advise that anymore. I mean, I was terrified about knocking on the door that someone was actually going to answer the door.
Nobody answers the door anymore, Sam. Nobody answers the door anymore. They get the ring and they're like, who are you?
It was
Yeah,
way
they have the
different than the
ring.
knock. It
Yeah.
was just, I mean, I was
Yeah.
sweating bullets.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
once
Oh,
they
we all
open the
were.
door, I'm fine. So I don't
Everybody-
advise
yeah.
that, but get a mentor. Go and look at houses every day. Check the MLS every day. Walk your neighborhood if that's where you want to be. Walk your neighborhood. Get to know it. Talk to the post office man
Yeah.
or a lady, postal worker.
Yeah.
Sam, amazing. Does anybody have any questions for Sam in the chat?
I can't see it. So
No, we see the chat. No, every comment we've had so far, I've shared as we've gone along. So,
Sam, thank you so much for being on. You know, I truly enjoy.
Sam, Nicholas has a question.
this morning I did not have much sugar.
Yeah.
I had a little protein drink that I don't think has sugar in it.
Okay.
I didn't even have any caffeine this morning.
Wow.
But I do love sugar. Refined sugar is one of the most, the 2,000-year-old man said saran wrap. I think refined sugar was the most important thing that man ever created.
Speaking of sugar, what did you do with those donut pictures you took?
Those donuts, where were those donuts?
The donut pictures.
Oh,
the
yeah,
donut
the donuts.
picture.
Those are the Bosa donuts. Those were Chris, because I know Chris loves sugar too. You can tell by looking at your physique how much sugar you have. I tell people I actually have a six-pack. It's just buried underneath the keg.
Right. What I asked him was, what did you do with the donut picture? You never sent it to me.
Oh, I did send it to you. I posted it. I'm sure I did.
I never got it, man.
Well, I will. I'm sure I will check to make sure that
I wanted to show Nicky, like, look, I almost had a donut today.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, my hearing. Get a hearing aid if you can't hear.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
Well, I'll look for it. If I can't find it, I'll buy some more donuts. We'll take another picture. You don't have to worry about eating them.
Well, thank you so much, Sam. You truly are a gem, and you're one of the best things at this brokerage, and we appreciate all your wisdom and your tenacity. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much for drawing me out of my shell.
Yeah.
Hey, it only took me 3 times to get you on the show, so that's a win.
Thanks a lot, everybody.
Let's get Sula in next week.
Yeah. Go tell Sula she's coming on next week. We need Sula. We got to bookend it with Sam and
Sula.
Oh
yeah, that's right. That's great. She's in Ecuador, but she can certainly work. Certainly work soon. She is a techno whiz. Yeah. Brilliant, a brilliant woman.
Okay,
that's
awesome. Love it. Well,
thank you,
Sam.
everybody.
See ya.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.